Oi, you know what time it is? You're tuned in listening to Dry That Aussie Metal Guy. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss any of his content when it drops. And remember, stay brutal, you mad dogs. Roof.
Okay then, g'day, how you all going? It's Jai, that Aussie metal guy here with crank.com. So today, tonight, wherever you are in the world, joining us is Sacramento-based active rock band Nerv, who are here to talk all about their highly anticipated new single, which just fucking dropped, Wasted. They're known for their powerful sound. They blend dynamic guitar with riffs, raw emotive vocals. They've quickly become a force in the rock scene with over 40 million streams across platforms and a solid history on stations like SiriusXM, Music Choice, BBC1 Rock, fucking Spotify, for your Spotify playlists there as well. Recently completed a tour with fellow fucking Aussies, Polaris, played a major festivals like Louder Than Life, Aftershock. You can catch them coming up at Dirty Fest November 16th in LA, I believe. Since breaking onto the scene in November 2017 with their debut single Enough, Nerv has continued to impress with their debut EP Bad Habits. Following on after that was their full-length album We're All Patients Here, which we fucking are, which has garnered over 20 million streams. You're currently you're finishing up their upcoming EP with producer Matt Good, who has worked with bands like Asking Alexandria and Escape the Fate, hoping for a 2025 release as well. So we get to chat to Tyler, Dill, and I think Jordan, is dropping in later on. Thank you very much for joining me, guys.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for having us.
Brother?
That was a gnarly intro.
Yeah.
I love that.
We
That
love
awesome.
that, yeah.
Absolutely.
Leave it to the Australian dude to give us the best intro. We love it.
Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah, man. King of the fucking intros, bro. First off, for the uninitiated guys, can you tell me a little bit about kind of how this all started for you guys?
Do it, Tyler.
It's been a hot minute now. I think it's been 7 years, going on 8 years, but basically online, our past bands through YouTube videos, covers, things like that. We found each other online, started a group chat online and bounced some ideas back and forth with each other. We ended up locking in a date and officially like flying out to LA with Eric Ron to record a little EP together. We didn't even have a name for the band yet at that point. We didn't really know what we wanted to do. We just wanted these songs done. Got the songs done, and that was the Bad Habits EP, Bad Habits, Enemy, and Enough, and some acoustic versions on there as well. And flew back home. We were from all over the country. I lived in Georgia at the time. The two other members, Scott and Jordan, lived in Texas. Dill's actually from Sacramento, born and raised. And we would fly out there occasionally for like a month at a time to record music videos, play some shows, practice, and things like that, you know.
They would all sleep in my bed.
Yeah. we would fly out to his house and just all cram into his house, into his room and his bed. And for like a month at a time, got some videos shot, played some shows, flew back home, released Bad Habits, Enough. Bad Habits started to take off a little bit and do really well for us. So very thankful for that. Just got super fortunate with the algorithm. I don't know what YouTube did for us, but super fortunate for that. And after a while, once that EP was kind of floating and Bad Habits was going up, we decided we need to live in the same state if we want to do this full time and release more music and make it easier to play shows and to practice. So it took a couple years for sure. After the band started, maybe like 3 years. And I moved out here from Georgia, just dropped everything. I've been out here for about almost 6 years now, 5.5 years I've been out here. Scott and Jordan also moved out here as well, like a year after I did. So we've been out here ever since, and that's why we were able to actually, well, then COVID happened.
Yes.
So as soon as I moved out here and the boys moved out here, that happened, and it made it really weird because we were already in like a new state and didn't really know a lot of people besides Dill and his friends. So then the world shut down. So we had this whole plan to get that We're All Patients Here album out. But then that happened and it put a halt on things for a couple years. So it was almost an unfortunate hiatus unintentionally. But once we were able to get the album out, things kind of were easier to get rolling here and there. But that's basically the gist of how Nerv came to be, pretty much.
Yeah, during that time of COVID, though, did it give you guys kind of, I know it was a fucking forced hiatus, but did it give you guys a bit more time to focus on the music and kind of what product you were going to bring out over that time? Or did you kind of all kind of just
I
sit
think
back
it
a little
did.
bit?
Yeah, no, I think it did. We were unhappy about it for a lot of the time because
Yeah.
we just want to put it out. We put all this work into it, but it kind of gave us time to plan things out. Um, we were independent for a large majority of the Nerv's career, basically. So we wanted to do everything the right way. So having a lawyer and like booking agents to help us with like certain decisions and things like that. But yeah, basically, it's basically it pretty much. But
Yeah.
So how was that period, Dylan, like for you guys, like going through that, starting as an independent band and making this decision to go, man, we're going to be a full-time band. We want to really make something of this and really push. Like, tell me a little bit about kind of that process and the motivation and mindset behind that, man.
So like once we realized we wanted to do it full time, like once I realized how serious they were when they moved out here from, across the whole country, I we started like, reaching out to friends and other bands and things like that. And eventually our friends in the band called Secrets, they're like, yo, come out on this tour with us. And at the time when they asked us, there was we had nothing. I think we had a lawyer at the time. That's it. We had no agent, no manager, no label, no nothing. And they're like, yo, come out on this tour. We said yes to that tour. About halfway through, we had like 4 or 5 different agents, a couple managers, all these people just hitting us up. And we're just like, geez, okay, well, maybe we did something right. So let's take a couple breaths and then, talk to our lawyer who is very well connected and very, very like, well known in the music scene. He's like, yo, these guys seem like they're legit. These guys seem like they're legit. And then we eventually, got our booking agents. And then shortly after, we ended up with a manager. Now, as of last year, we have a whole team. And yeah, it's been cool. But we, like Tyler said, we were just trying to make sure we did everything the right way. And COVID might have been a blessing because it let us take a big, deep breath instead of just jumping head first. Because we're pretty good at just diving into stuff, but we're also, we're willing to say no. We've said no to a lot of people that other people I don't think would have said no to. So
Yep.
we have a lot of we have a lot of I don't know, spaz, pizzazz, all that stuff. We're down.
yeah,
But yeah, it's been cool. There's no real right or wrong answer to how we did it, but
You just
I
kind
think
of
it's
dove
just
in there and started working. That's
yeah.
kind
I
of
mean,
the key, is it? Not overthinking it
yeah,
too much. Go, look, man, we want to make some music. Let's just get
right.
in there and start working. Because when you start overthinking things, like I know what I'm like, I'd give myself 100 reasons why I fucking can't do something. Whereas if I just
Right.
dive into it and go, fuck it, I'm going to do it, then you kind of learn as you go and you grow as an
yeah,
artist. And all you guys kind of were in bands before doing other things as well. But, I'm
Yeah.
pretty keen to know kind of what your background and influences are as well from both of you guys kind of coming into this. Kind of who are some of the people that have inspired and influenced you, and what were you kind of doing before?
it's
Um,
def- I know that.
but
Well,
Good,
his old
Tyler.
band, Incredible Me, was on Artery Records, and
Yep.
a lot of like we all knew about that band. So it was cool just knowing that part of the background from Dill's side alone as it is. And I mean Dill and himself. Dill, tell me your influences. You have it's a
I
crazy
mean,
blend.
I grew up listening to like, country and boy bands and R&B, and then I got really into like, the metal scene, like, old school metalcore, like All That Remains and As I Lay Dying, back when they were like really, really popping off, Bullet for My Valentine. And I really loved the heavy stuff, but I also had a soft spot for like, catchy choruses and really good hooks from like R&B and stuff like that. So I whenever I did join a band, I tried to stay like in my world versus, just trying to sound like everybody else. I was always like, yo, I'm gonna make this part sound super rhythm and blues, like R&B or soulful. And then, where a lot of bands were just trying to sound like the thing that just hit last month. And I think that benefited us, my old band, because we sounded so much different than like most people. And then with Nerve, I think I took what I've learned from that band, and then writing choruses and stuff for this one, doing the same thing but different, and then having Tyler and Scott and Jordan being so fucking talented that it wasn't just throw stuff at the wall till it sticks. It was like, yep, this is it, this is good. They all like the same kind of music, be it they might like heavier stuff or lighter stuff, but I think we mesh really well, and our past is just it's just learning. My first band, I was like, I think I joined when I was like 20 or 19, and we toured the US, did all that stuff, and toured with a lot of cool bands. And yeah, I took all that knowledge into Nerve and tried to give my best advice to the guys that didn't know as much and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was cool too because we all instantly got along really well. And here
that's
we are,
another thing.
7 going on 8 years later, and we still get along really well. So that's perfect. I know me and Dill both have R&B influence. I grew up near Atlanta, Georgia, and growing up with like Usher, Ludacris, early 2000s, R&B and hip hop, as well as Slipknot, System of a Down. I was raised on that as well. So when I was first learning how to play drums, I was just drumming to System of a Down albums over and over and over again. So going into the metal world instantly, I was in those shitty local metal bands that would play for 10 people a night, and I had a blast doing it. I thought it was so much fun and did that, up until I was like 18, 19, started to figure out, I joined this other band called I Assailant from Georgia, and we did a little tour that was like a week long, and that was my only touring experience ever before joining Nerve. So here we are, almost 10 years from that point. Only like a year and a half ago, maybe a little more, we started touring as Nerve. And we've done quite a bit of tours since then. So that was, I don't know, it was kind of a culture shock for me, but it's a blast. Wouldn't trade it for the world. Wouldn't trade it for the world. And I know the other boys have a lot of cool R&B and also old school metal influences as well. It's just we're trying to bring it all to light.
Yeah, I've talked about that a bit the last few interviews, but as metalheads and people into hard rock, we've also got influences from all over the bloody place. I'm huge into jazz and soul and funk and folk music, singer-songwriter acoustic stuff, Devil Makes Three, Bridge City Sinners, fucking. But then my wheelhouse is heavy metal mainly, but I fucking listen to all sorts. So when I see people with their fucking keyboard warrior shit going, oh, you listen to, I was chatting to this guy from a melodic death metal band going, man, fucking, I was hammering that Dua Lipa album, dude, and he's like, this metal is listening to whatever the fuck you want, and we come from broad influences and music, and as a musician, as an artist, having all these different influences and inspirations only makes you a better fucking songwriter.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Did you find yourself, Tyler, as a drummer, were you like getting hit for heaps of different bands in your area to begin with because you're like the one drummer in the area?
Yes, actually, I did everything from church drumming to bar drumming, just playing, open mic nights with people who needed drummers, playing acoustic cajones and stuff like that. But that was basically, that's how it was until eventually I moved out here to California, and there's 900 million drummers out here. So it's a whole new world, but I love it. It's a good time.
Yeah, it would have been a weird fucking time coming from where you were to California, because I know each state in America, I've been over there, is like each state has a different dichotomy, and it's almost like a different little fucking country almost.
It's definitely feels like a different world.
Yeah, it was a very, very fucking different world when I went over there. I was like, oh my fucking God, this is cool. I wouldn't want to live here, but it's a great place to visit as well.
Exactly.
Jordan, g'day, how you going, my friend?
I was having trouble finding my charger for my laptop because it was dead.
That's all good, brother. Very, very pleased to meet you, man. I just asked the guys about some of their background and some of the influences and kind of where they come from, if you'd like to chuck in your part.
Okay.
Yeah, we were telling them about all of our R&B and ignorant stuff that we grew up listening to.
We all love it, mate. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, well, I grew up on like country music, and then I found out about grunge and Nirvana and stuff like that. I became obsessed with it. And then, I don't know, I got into just heavier and heavier stuff since then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
a mad Nirvana
progressively gets
kid.
heavier.
I'm telling my age, man, but I was like rocking out to Nirvana when they were still alive back in fucking 95. I think I was about 15, young teenage lad. It was the music of my fucking youth, man,
Yes,
Nirvana.
that's like prime
Oh, yeah.
time. That's crazy.
Yeah, dude. So Jordan, tell me about how you first got into guitar, man. Tell me about a little bit about that. I'm keen to have a chat with you now.
Just kind of I just kind of grew up around it because my dad was a musician and stuff, so we always had guitars and stuff around. So I just started messing with that stuff from a young age, and then, you know, learned some chords, and I learned about power chords, and I was like, oh shit, now I can play any song. It's a cheat code. So yeah, I don't know. Just
Well,
always been around it.
Yeah. Tell us about your setups, guys. What are you using at the moment, Jordan? Then I'll ask you what you got there for drums, mate, Tyler.
Uh, right now, like guitar wise, I've been playing this LTD like black metal guitar. It's pretty sick. It's like got this one bridge pickup. Sounds thick. It's nice. And I got my Les Paul. I have some bare knuckle war pigs in it. Then a lace nitro Hemi in the neck, and it sounds all silky smooth and stuff. And then we're running that through like a Line 6 Helix pedal board. And that's pretty much that.
nice.
Nothing too crazy, nothing complicated.
Yep.
Okay.
What's your kit at the moment, Tyler? What are you using, mate?
At the moment, the one I've been playing for the past few tours, I've had for like 5 years. It's just been a Mapex kit because that was the first one that I bought when I moved here to California. But I did recently, maybe like 4 months ago, have like a call with SJC and set something up with them. So I actually got an email yesterday that my SJC custom kit is mailed out. So I will be having a full SJC brand new. I'm gonna like post an unboxing and stuff, so that'll be fun. I play all Zildjian right now. I've been hooked on Zildjian cymbals, the K Custom series. Can't get enough of that. DW pedals, my heads that I use, Evans and Remo. I use Remo snare and Evan toms. I like to mix it up. I'm not married to anything. I use Vader sticks. Um,
Married to me.
yeah, married to you. Definitely trying to get I mean, we're still new-ish to the touring world, of course, but hopefully in the near future we can get some sponsorships or something, or some sort of endorsements would be cool. Any help on the road would be awesome. So, but
Burger
that's my
King.
setup right now.
Oh yeah, dude, because like touring is a huge part of a band, especially kind of starting out. Like, yeah, you're getting lots of fucking streams, but it doesn't really go over to showing kind of, helping you pay to tour and shit like that and keep on
Yeah,
the road. So when you're first starting out, a lot of it comes out of your own pocket. You're all working bloody day jobs and then trying to pay for a bloody tour and then do this full time and juggle it as well. So it's hella important as you first start to kind of tour as much as you can and put a face to that band as well. You're not just this little fucking image on Spotify and little
yep,
numbers and that. Going out and touring and making those connections with the fans is really, really bloody important as a band starting out.
exactly. We had to like prove to ourselves that we were a real band. When we all moved out here, we're like, all right, let's tour. If we can tour, then we can do it. And we've been on six tours now. Is that our
Yep.
sixth tour that we just went
Well,
on?
yes,
Yeah.
it's definitely a real band. Like even from that first single, man, you could hear the production value in you guys, and the hooks were catchy as fuck. I was playing some of your music just before to a mate, and he's like, "Man, this is good, man. It's
Yeah.
catchy." I'm like, "Yeah,
Nice.
man. It's got the hooks in you, grabs you, has you kind of fucking bouncing your head a little bit, including the latest single, Wasted." Can you tell me a little bit about the inspiration behind this single?
Wasted, man. That song has been in the Nerve verse for a long time, and we've re-recorded it quite a few times, and it's been how many times have we recorded that, Dill?
I've recorded it vocally 6, 7 times, I think. Re-recorded it
Mhm.
like professionally, like 6 or 7 times. It's changed a little bit here and there, but it's mostly stayed the same. Me and I think, did you write that one with Scott, Jordan?
No, Scott that wrote that one with Blanco.
Yeah, okay. Scott and Blanco, his dog, wrote that one, and me and Dave, my friend Dave, wrote the vocals. I think we ended up writing the vocals for that song in like 5 minutes. Um, we kind of did it as a test to ourselves. It was like you know how when you're writing something, I don't know if you write anything, but if you're writing some music and you keep correcting yourself or keep going back on yourself and like, oh, I mean, I could do better, I can do better, I can do better, I can do better, and it ends up being worse than it was like your first couple tries. That was like the proof in the pudding that if you just, you know, do what you know you can do right away, it'll be, you know, a pretty good song. So I always thought Wasted was like a testament to that, like, you know, just learning about songwriting and then putting that in and throwing it up and just letting it happen. It ended up being a pretty cool song. It's been a Nerv song for so long that we're all kind of like, all right, we're so excited to have it out, have other people listen to it, because we're like, does this even sound cool anymore? Because we've listened to it 7,562 times, you know, just to make sure it sounds right or whatever. But the vocals and stuff, like I said, we wrote those like snap, quick, and a pop, and it didn't really change much.
Yeah. So tell me some of the lyrical themes and concepts you're tackling with this track there, Dillon.
So it's like it's a lot of things, but it's definitely, you know, just dealing with something, whether it be a substance or a human being, and like, you know, there not being enough space in your life for both of them. You know, like there's lines in the song that, you know, it's not this, like, it's almost like this town ain't big enough for the two of us, but it's directed at someone or something. So it's just a matter of like, you know, trying to get rid of that or, you know, cope with it. But, you know, standing up to it, I guess, is another way to put it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's not a very, very super duper deep song unless you want to make it one, because obviously addictions and things can get deeper and bad relationships can get deeper, but it's a surface level thing. And that's just, I feel like sometimes those songs are some of the best.
Yeah, because they're quite it's music subjective, and I love tracks like music, you know what I mean? Each person can get something different out of it, you know what I mean? That's why everybody, like, I don't bring down other people's music and musicians and artists, because it's so subjective, just, you know. And with tracks like this, like, I got a lot out of that. Like, as you said, you touched on the themes of drugs. I overcame a drug habit back when I was younger and shit. So I felt that, but I also felt like I've just gone through a breakup. So I'm like, man, I could fucking feel both of these, man, and hit home on both aspects as well, which is really cool for you guys as a songwriter, because, yeah, you got something out of it because you wrote the track, guys, but also the listener can fucking have that experience, that real personal experience, which I love about bands and musicians, and why I fucking hate AI music. I definitely I'm a fan of having things in songs that are specific to somebody, but I also do like leaving it very open. Most of our songs, I think you could take, you know, however you want, and it'll work, because I've had people come up to us and tell us some songs they felt that they were this, and I'm like, that's valid. I didn't write it about that, but what you're saying completely makes sense. And that is, I agree. That's the best part about a human written song. Yeah, and that's also good as going to playing all these shows as well, and it comes back to what I was saying, putting a face to the band as well, meeting the fans after it, being at the merch stand, and them coming up and buying some fucking shirts or an album and stuff, because that's hella important. And one thing we still do in the hard rock and metal scenes, like, you go to a tour concert, you see a heap of old buddies, but you also see a big lineup at the merch stand, and then people coming to your show and kind of seeing you for the first time, Nerv, and going, fuck man, they were so good, running over to the merch stand, saying g'day, then going back home and telling 10, 20 of their fucking mates, go check this shit out, because we all do the same as fans. Yeah, I mean, without a doubt, I always tell everybody what I like, so I know that they're going to do the same thing. And it's also really cool when you come back to a show and you see somebody with a shirt on. Like this last tour we were on, we'd have 10, 15 people there with merch from forever ago, and we're like, holy shit, like, you bought that online or whatever, you know, and that's a really cool feeling. Yeah, and you become emotionally invested in a band as well. It's like, I'm not a sporting person, but bands are like my sporting team. So you go out and you buy the shirts and you represent that way. And that's something I do like about the scene that we're in. We do become emotionally invested, and we do go out and buy the merch and support the bands, because it's absolutely huge. You know, I did mention that you have had over 40 million streams across all these different platforms, but, you know, how does that kind of transfer to support? Because it's great to get all these streams and get all your music in all these fucking ears, but having these people come to your shows and buy tickets early, buy merch, actually buy the album, means a whole fucking lot to you guys. Without a doubt, it's super duper important. We're very, very fortunate because we're
all of our stuff apart from the last couple songs, like the last 2 songs, were released independently. So,
Yep.
all those streams adding up are ours. We're not splitting them with a label and everything like that. We obviously have to split it with like management and like lawyers and stuff. And then the shows get split with the booking agent. But at the end of the day, like we see more than most bands because we slogged through the 7 years of no label, no assistance, like you said, working jobs, going to play a show and working a job, quitting a job and having to go back to it when we get back on from tour. I know Tyler had to do that a few times. It was just a matter of like, I don't know, almost we did all the stupid shit to now we're starting to see the benefits because we didn't sign a label. We might have got instant gratification if we signed a label, put on a big tour, lots more streams and everything like that. But I think the rate we're growing and everything like that, even with some songs on this label, we still have all of our old stuff. So as long as that keeps growing, we're going to be able to be at least, minimum wage workers in this music scene for a while. We're able to go on tour and eat versus, there's my old band, we would live off $5 a day because it was just what we got. And yeah, definitely helps. Streams are definitely a game changer in this world. I know that you said you're older, you come from a different thing where nowadays, like, I think bands, if they're not signed to a record label, you can get some to a certain level of streaming and you can make it. Like, you can do it. You can put money back into your band, be it pay for the ads or pay for a music video or something like that. It's definitely the internet's terrible, but it's also great for that.
Yeah, you got to really kind of work across the whole fucking social media side of things and really plug it. That's something I have fucking trouble with being an Aussie. We're very self-deprecating, but the self-promo game now, you got to jump on the Facebook, the fucking TikTok, the fucking Instagram, drop fucking reels all the time, and people are like, oh yeah, man, they got all the streams, they just dropped out, but they don't see the fucking hundreds of hours that, Jordan's put into learning guitar and Tyler's learned to drums and you with the vocal and the songwriting and everything like that. They don't take into account the hundreds and fucking hundreds of hours you put into this, relationship breakdowns, losing fucking jobs. So, support is everything. Getting those streams out, fucking buying albums and, supporting you guys, especially on tour. You've worked with some fucking notable producers, like Eric Ron and Matt Good, who I mentioned as well. How do you feel these collaborations kind of influence your music, but also help you guys grow as musicians?
Eric Ron was like the first producer that I ever like actually drummed in front of. And he was like tough on me for sure. But at the end of the day, it was really fucking cool. Like we got along really well at the end of the day, and it definitely, I don't know, kind of opened my eyes to the whole studio process in general. And then with Matt Good, that was a super smooth process, but you can go ahead, Dill.
Yeah, Eric was tough on me with vocals too, trying to make it perfect, and I appreciate it at the end of the day. And it's just one of those things. I feel like working with pros makes you pro. So like Tyler said, he learned a lot from it. So did I. So did George. So did we all. And then when we went into Matt Good, we took everything we knew, and it was just butter smooth because we're like, yep, look what we have already kind of ready to go. Here's most of a song. How do you want to do it, kind of thing, and it ends up just being exactly what we want because we learned so much growing up and doing all the stuff.
Yeah, nice. You recently toured with Polaris, guys? Can you share any memorable moments from that recent tour with fucking fellow Aussies, Polaris? I was stoked when I seen this. I'm like, hell yeah!
I missed them so much. So much. Those dudes are so awesome, so easy to get along with, so genuine, no egos. They're just so cool. Probably one of the best headliners we've toured with. They just made us feel at home. We're genuinely wanting to hang out with us after the shows every night, and I don't know, very, very good people, and the performances are 10 out of 10 every night. Shit was crazy. They throw down so hard. Like very, very good.
As far as moments go, we there was tons of fun times with them, but we played this game called Werewolf with them in Bless the Fall, and man, it was so fun. It's like Mafia or any of those types of imposter type games, Among Us or any of those things. But we were playing in person with the full tour package, and it was absolutely just fun, just messing with each other and doing all that kind of stuff. Wouldn't trade it for the world.
Yeah,
Fuck yeah.
definitely.
How's it for you, Jordan?
I'm so like out of it right now. I don't know.
Polaris.
Being on tour was probably just Montreal in Canada.
Yeah.
The crowd, it was
That was crazy. Yeah.
sort of doing like a soccer chant in Polaris' set, and it was like louder than the music, and the whole building was fucking shaking and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was our first time in Canada too. Our first time playing out of the country. And Montreal just went absolutely insane.
Yeah, they
Especially
hit us with that ole, 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 ole. And they were
Yeah.
stomping on the ground, and golly,
It
it
was
was loud.
sick.
Hello,
Very
go the football, man. You also performed at a couple of major festivals as well, Louder Than Life and Aftershock. Tell us about those experiences for you guys.
Yeah, Jordan, tell us all about it.
Throw him in it. Jordan's like, fuck you, Dillon.
I don't know, they're both sick. It's always fun playing those festivals. It's like so cool to hang out with all the bands that are there and stuff, and then just get to watch so many cool bands all day like that. And there are so many people there.
Yeah, I can't get used to the amount of people that are there. Because that makes it like our third or fourth festival we've played.
Yeah,
You
third.
include like Capulet, I guess, if you want to. But so we're still kind of getting used to the whole festival vibe, but it's so cool. Like Jordan said, you get to meet a bunch of really cool bands and people you grew up listening to, and you get to watch all these bands, and I don't know, it's really cool being because I grew up going to festivals like that, so being on the other side of the festival is badass. And Aftershock, we live here in Sacramento, so that was really cool to finally play an Aftershock here in our
Sleep in
hometown.
our own bed.
Yeah. So that it was cool. Very cool. I would love to play more festivals. So hopefully next year has more in store for us.
Wink, wink, hopefully.
Yeah, the experience and the exposure for guys like you that are fucking starting out and coming up through is just amazing. Like even when and landing those support slots for these big bands that are touring, and that just is fucking unreal. Like, and it's unreal for the exposure and also the experience too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's wild when we get sent the offers for stuff like that. Because Polaris is easily one of my favorite bands currently. Like they're no joke. They're super good live. They write super good music. Their lyrics are good. Their hooks are good. Their music's heavy. There's literally no complaints. And now I know that they're good dudes. It's just the perfect package. You just can't beat it.
Yeah, I'm kind of biased, but most of us Aussies are pretty fucking laid back and cool dudes. So you won't have a problem with most of us Aussies, that's for sure. Kind of like
Nice.
Canada. You mentioned
You're probably not
Canada,
wrong.
dude. I find that I've talked to a lot of Canadians. We have the same kind of fucking laid back, chill attitude as a lot of Canadians do too.
Right.
You know, and it's a crazy time, so it must be good to kind of get out of fucking the US and go over to Canada and maybe come over to Australia while all this shit's going on for the next few fucking years, man, and then go back.
We
I
want
know,
to.
right? We need
We
to.
want
We need to
to.
go out there with. We have a couple bands out there that we know and talk to that would be really sweet to go out there with.
Yeah, and like our stats on Spotify too, our top in our top
Yeah, I think
5, 3 of those top 5 cities are Australian.
Yeah,
So we definitely
we
need
got
to
them.
make
We
a
got
move.
them all. Australia loves us, so we love them.
Yeah.
We most definitely do love good music. The debut single was Enough. Tell me about how you guys feel your music has evolved and you guys have evolved and grown as musicians since that first single.
Wow, we were babies. We were very young still, and I don't think we knew what we had at the time, really, but we were excited, all of us together shooting the music video we shot the music video for Enough and Bad Habits in the same day.
Yep.
So we were definitely tired that day, but since then, you can almost hear in our music too, like us slowly maturing and kind of finding where we want to be. This EP's super, super fun for us, where I feel like we're able to express ourselves a little bit more, as time goes on. But every time I think about Enough, I'm It's a good song. I do like Enough, and we were just so young. It feels like whenever we watch the music video, we look so young and everything. And I don't know. I'm proud of Little Us whenever I watch that music video.
Little
Uh,
Us. I like that.
yeah, Little Us.
So that track wasted is that's gonna be on the EP. The other singles you've released this year, Say This Sober, Upside Down, Fake, and Outsiders, are they all gonna be dropping as well with this, or what's the plans? And tell me a little bit what you can anyway of the EP that you are working on. How's that going?
So
Uh,
with a lot of new music and like new bands and stuff, it's like releasing one song at a time and giving it the attention that it needs. It seems to be the right way to go because not as many people are buying physical media as we would like. And I know I personally like having a collection of songs together, but some people don't seem to care. They just get on Spotify or YouTube and they listen to the one song and then that's that. So we're playing to the strength of the internet right now and just releasing them one at a time. Everything we have out so far is technically part of it, but the song you mentioned, Outsiders, that's with a band called Red Star that we did a collab with. So it's just kind of part of the process of building up this relationship with SBG and making her happen.
Yeah, nice. So you guys have obviously got your signature sound based in hard rock, which is fucking unreal. I love that. But how do you balance that, maintaining your signature sound while also experimenting with different elements in the band as well?
Just doing it. I don't think we don't care. We're not trying to sound like something. There hasn't been one point where we're like, we need to sound more like this, or
Yeah, we'll just bounce ideas off each other and each put our input in, and we're like, this sounds kind of weird, but it's kind of cool. Let's just roll with it. And that's like a lot of the songs that are coming up on this EP definitely have that vibe. It's got like a newer side of Nerve, and we're really stoked about it, honestly.
I kind of feel like we could make any kind of song, and then if Dill's voice is on it, then it'll sound like Nerve.
Yeah, because Nerve
what you
has
guys
that
said.
signature sound.
It's gonna be a rough one. I'm gonna have to do a loop.
So tell us about some of the biggest challenge you guys feel you have faced as a band and kind of how you have overcame them.
Moving was a big one, having to relocate all the way across the country is very, I don't know, it's life-changing, starting over from the ground up. So that mentally was kind of crazy to do. And then at the same time, trying to keep the same mental of why you moved in the first place, and kind of hustle down on that. I don't know. It's constantly trying to get better for me personally. I'm always trying to improve. I've lived in apartments for a lot of the time that I've lived here in California and can't play drum set in apartments. So like not being able to play drums all the time kind of sucks. But recently I got a drum room and everything, so it's cool. Finally being able to actually work on that and like make content or just get better in general, honestly.
Yep. Dillon Jordan.
What?
I just like to sing all the time. That's what I do. I just sing as much as I can and hope that I get better. Write music with friends, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Did you feel that was a big challenge, one of the bigger challenges for you, Jordan? Did you have to move and relocate as well?
Yeah, because I'm originally from like the Dallas area in Texas.
Yep.
So whenever the band started picking up and stuff, we all decided to move out here. I came here from there, and I lived with our other guitarist, Scott. We're roommates. So we just do that and try to write songs all the time when we're bored.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keeping up. That's a big thing too. Like trying to keep up with just being as good as everyone else is in this music scene. That's definitely a challenge. I know that for me at least. I try to be like I said, I sing a lot. Try to be a better singer. Just so I'm keeping up with it. Cause like, I don't know if you've looked lately, but there is so much freaking talent out there right now. It is absolutely outrageous. There's some insane vocalists and insane guitar players and everything in between.
It's fuck. I'm right into it, dude. Being in music media, and I physically I couldn't possibly keep up with the amount of talent and quality we have out there in the world. And it's a big part of why I do fucking what I do, man, to talk about bands like Nerv and what you guys have got going on and the scene that we have, because it's absolutely fucking amazing. So tell me a little bit about how you guys approach songwriting as a band.
Go, Jordan.
Yeah.
What are you doing, dude?
Well, usually we start out with an instrumental, which will just be Scott and I will just write something and be like, oh, this is cool. Or maybe it's just a guitar riff or something, and then we'll send it to the group and be like, hey guys, what do you think about this? And then get the feedback and then just build it up from there.
Yeah, sometimes they'll have like a really good night or like a good weekend, and then we'll get like multiple files of a whole bunch of different ideas that they had, and a lot of those ideas turn into these songs that we're releasing right now. Super fun though. I know with the We're All Patients here, that full studio process, able to like actually live track drums and things like that, and all be in the same room writing together. That was really fun. Dill just comes up with these hooks and these lyrics uh super quick, and it's crazy because these lyrics, I don't know, a lot of his lyrics are like relatable and stuff too, so it's super cool having, I don't know, his side of things as well. But at the end of the day, we just want to make sure that we're all happy with what we produce and what we put out, to make sure it's, to make sure we're proud of it as we release it. So
Yeah, and you did mention kind of you guys have gone from fucking being independent to working with SBG Records. Kind of how has that process been, going from an independent artist to working with a label?
Really
good.
smooth, because the owner, Shan, is just like essentially our friend at this point. He gave us, we have like the most fair deal. It's just super cool. He's 100% trying to help, and it doesn't seem like anything's being hindered by having him around, versus, sometimes you have a label come in and it's just like negatives. There's like the positives that they pay for things, but the negative is everything else. We're lucky because he actually listens to our input. He'll change things if we think, oh, this should be released like this. He's not afraid to just say, okay, let's do it. Let's do it your way. You're right. You're smart. Versus, how I'm sure some labels would just tell you to go fly a kite. We're doing it this way. So, yeah, as far as like the transition from independent to being on a label, it's honestly been wonderful. I have no complaints. I don't know if the boys do, but like at the end of the day, I feel like we got a unicorn, as they say. So
yeah, it's nice having a little bit of weight lifted off of our shoulders, going from doing everything ourselves to actually having some help and able to get that like radio push and things like that. Like us finally being able to land on Octane.
I guess.
Super fortunate. Super
Yeah,
fortunate.
well, that's, I'm glad that's still important, like being able to fucking get onto those radio stations. Because for me, again, my generation, radio was huge, dude.
Yeah.
I do a bit of radio myself as well still. And listening to radio is always, I always found it fun because you'd hear new bands like Nerv and other bands. And I used to sit there with a tape cassette back when there was a tape cassette. And fuck, got to record that. You know what I mean? I'd steal my mum's tapes though, and I'd put a little bit of sticky tape over the fucker and put it in there and go over old Sting cassettes and shit like that. I don't know. I was young and fucking silly. But yeah, that was how I found music. So it's really important to be able to kind of still get on these platforms. And I'm glad radio still goes really well. So how important do you guys feel that getting on these platforms is for the band and growth?
I mean, Octane is definitely, SiriusXM in general is still very popular, which is surprising because that was, even when I was growing up, I remember seeing SiriusXM and other platforms like that, and that's still standing and going strong and still is very popular. So I'd say it's pretty important to us to get on there, because I feel like that's the next step. If you're able to, if you're touring, releasing music, things are going well, the next step is going to be radio that people pay a lot of money for, because XM's not cheap, and it definitely pays well for the artists and the labels and things like that as well. It's just cool to finally see our name on one of those stations. At the end of the day, it feels good, and
I would world different demographic of fans and stuff.
Yeah,
People who buy new trucks that come with Octane. come with
Yeah.
SiriusXM.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah. Yeah. But we've had people at our shows come up to us and say, hey, it's I found you guys on Octane. I heard you on SiriusXM. We're like, that's really fucking cool. Hell yeah.
Exactly. It's really good to see that support reciprocated as well. And we kind of all work together across these platforms. You know what I mean? Radio, Spotify, streaming, and YouTube, and all these platforms do help grow the band in general. Look, guys, this has been an absolute pleasure. I could probably keep on talking, but we better fucking sign out. Can I get some last words, shout outs, and thank yous from all of you guys as well?
Dude, appreciate you having us here. Everyone, thank you for listening. Check out Wasted, just dropped today, October 25th. And there's more in store. We appreciate you, man. Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks. I'm at a pumpkin patch now. Now things are getting serious.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Awesome.
appreciate you, brother.
Absolute pleasure. Everybody go out, grab some Nerv. The latest single is Wasted. You're going to want to chuck it in the stereos and crank it up really fucking loud. The neighbors are going to want to hear it too. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, mate.
Oi, you're tuned in to Jai That Aussie Metal Guy, so make sure to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss any of his sick content. And remember, stay brutal, you legend.